Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been really just trying to set up today has been like so hard.
I think it's on because we heard the sound of the podcast last week. We've got brand new mics, by the way, guys, and obviously we're still trying to get used to. We don't normally use these for our YouTube channel. We use our Rode mic, but we've got lavalier mics from Youre. Thank you for those.
Newer.
But obviously, it's recorder's buff, and I'm quite loud, and Sureet's voice is sometimes quite low, so we're practicing. We learn.
Yeah, Steve has a loud voice.
We're learning new stuff. So obviously, when we were listening to it ourselves, we were like, the sound can be better. We will.
Taking a bit of time just to sit down and do this. Like, it's been a bit stressful, don't you think?
No, it hasn't been stressful.
For me, it has. I think for this
week, I
don't know. Then again, I just feel like
trying to get it done.
I feel like it's just, I don't know. For me, I'm not gonna lie, it has been stressful just thinking about it. Like, we're doing another podcast. It might sound strange because we do YouTube, and
been YouTube for 3 years. If you guys are new to our channel, I was going to say that thanks to everyone firstly for listening to our new podcast on Spotify. If you guys came on that, or we will try to put them on the other channels, Amazon and Apple, because people have asked to give some time. Or if you came onto our YouTube channel, which is Cool Art Touch, where we, many people watch it. Thank you again to you.
Thank you guys, honestly. And TikTok, we've had, obviously I jump on my lives in the morning, and everyone on TikTok have been recommending things to talk about, and, really supportive. So thank you to you guys as well. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like you were saying that you don't feel like...
I don't feel like I'm fully myself yet on here. I feel like I'm basically starting something new. When you're going to give an interview and you feel like I'm just getting myself ready. Yeah. Once I get the job going, I can be me. Yeah. If you guys see our YouTube videos, you'll see, there are times when you are emotional. There are things that you really talk about, but then there are times when I just joke about stuff, and I feel like I haven't got there yet.
Yeah. Well, there's so much to share, but you hold back on it thinking, oh...
I don't think I'm holding back on things to share, because I don't think we've started to talk about anything really.
I know, but I feel like with me, I've just been, overthinking about too much today. Especially with, speaking on TikTok and the questions that were asked. I'm like, I feel like maybe I'm speaking from my own self. Do I want to talk about my personal stuff, or do I want to hold back? I don't know. I've been a bit anxious, and I know that because I've yawned 1,000,000 times.
She has.
I get like that, don't know when
and she was just like...
I yawn, and my ears feel like they're popping. Like when you're on a flight kind of thing, you're taking off. My ears feel, and I've learned that about me. So I feel like when I'm anxious...
You're trying to distract yourself.
Yeah, and it's weird because whatever we're going to talk about, it's not going to be nothing serious or like personal, like too much into depth or anything. Like, I just think it's just life. But my ears are feeling like, so I'm getting like that.
Really don't clean it?
I clean my ears.
Yeah, that's what you say. Just like you say that you go for a walk every morning when you don't.
Hey, I walk. It's all in the mind.
Yeah, she walks in the mind, guys. That's what she does. She does that.
At least attempt to go for a walk.
There you go. See, now.
I go for a walk. I've been this week.
Honest and genuine, remember? Here,
yes.
Filtered.
And?
Be, say as it is.
No, I got for a walk yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yes, I did.
Anyway. Right, going back to the podcast. Sorry. We're just trying to get ourselves. Soon as we get like the mics and sound getting better, we start becoming, like we can openly feel that we are us. And like I said, it just feels at the moment from how we talk on YouTube and how we hear, like I was last week. Last week it was a strange one as well. I'm looking at you guys right here. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, it's taken me 3 years to start looking at the camera and talking. Yeah. As before, I was like trying to look away because I'm quite an introvert and I didn't want to be seen. So I basically would want to speak to Sureet, and it was like, you need to look at the camera and talk to the camera because you talk to the audience. And now, being on podcast, it's talk to the person who's in front of you, stop looking at the camera. And my face was kept on going, like if I'm talking to everyone else. Yeah, and even now, it'll be like, but it's a learning curve for me. And also, I can't help talking loud. I don't know if other people are like that. But
no,
but nobody talk loud.
That's one thing I've tried to get you to. Like, I haven't succeeded in that in 24 years. You You are so loud. You don't understand how irritating it can be.
See, there you go. Let's
So
pass that.
you don't need a mic. So fussing over a mic today, it was just as pointless.
Past that. Anyway, 24 years marriage. You guys know if you guys want. Have you guys listened to our first podcast? Let us know what you guys thought. That was basically me, how we started our YouTube channel, me leaving the police force after 20 years, what we were going through and experiencing. But lots of people are asking us about, obviously, marriage, relationship. We've got 4 kids, age 22, 21, 18 and 11. We say different dates sometimes, like ages sometimes, because they're changing. Yeah, their age is changing this year, and we keep on reversing it then, or what it is now. But there was one subject that came into my mind. I did mention it on Twitter. Well, I did mention it on TikTok this morning. I didn't ask people, but I just asked people what they thought, because, like I said, it seems like we've got loads of things we want to talk about, but it's deciding and choosing which one we want to speak about first. And not only that, I think it's just getting comfortable with being on the podcast and talking freely, that we're not holding things back, or we're not going, oh God, you know what, we should have mentioned that, or this and that. I want to just be in a comfortable place that, yeah, it doesn't matter. Or I could just be me.
You could be you.
And I am trying to be me. I think I'm me, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes there's that little confidence thing of doing something different. Yeah. And I feel that hasn't clicked yet. But this is me. I'm just saying.
I think my scare is like especially like today, the things that are going to be spoke about.
Yeah.
Is there's nothing major. So I'm a very much an emotional person, so I know what I get like. And I'm like, I don't. And another thing, I think after seeing you last week and how you were for the day after, because obviously it did affect you, you won't think about it. You don't think about it, do you?
Yeah.
Like we spoke about something in our first podcast, and thereafter, as soon as we switched off and we got on with work, you were a complete different person. You were so drained.
I was drained.
For speaking about what you'd gone through. And it's like something you've not thought about in such a long time.
Yeah.
And it's now there in the open and you've spoken about it and it affected you. I think I'm a bit scared about that.
I think it's like therapy, isn't it? It's basically like I don't talk about the police force since I've left. I don't look back. It's done and dusted. I think about the present and what I'm doing in the present and how I want my future to be. And I've just gone, okay, that was a part of my life. Whatever's occurred. Now let me get on. I'm not reflecting back on that. But then talking about it last week, it just made me feel like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? I was reflecting.
Depleted and
drained me.
And that seeing you like that last week kind of worried me, because I know what that feels like. I've been there, and seeing that last week, and I know even now sitting here today before we've come on, I told you I'm really so anxious. I don't know why, and my symptoms are coming back. My ears are like plugging in, like they feel really weird, and I know I'm tense on the stomach. And it's just nothing. And I don't drink water, and I like to have a cup of tea. And I'm like, when this is over and done with, I'm gonna have myself a nice pancake. I'm gonna have a cup of tea and just chill, because
and it won't even know about her. You go on a TikTok, see everything like
all the time. So they want me to eat pancakes. So I don't know.
Yeah,
don't wait.
So let's just say these first podcasts that we're going to do, we are talking about ourselves. We're not just going to be talking about ourselves. We are going to talk about other things too. We're going to ask people on TikTok, YouTube to let us know, and we might ask certain questions that you guys would like me to ask Sureet, or Sureet to ask me, and it doesn't have to be, it could be what we're doing with our fitness and diet, or what we're doing, like now that 2 of our kids have left home for university and the 3rd one's going. There could be various things, obviously our YouTube channel, how we are together, or things that you guys can't, those guys can't ask their own partners, or wondering, why are women like this? And then I'll see if you would answer that. Or why are men like this from a woman's point of view? Because I always get my husband, he does this, he does that. I always tell him this, like you say. And I can say, and I think what I'm leading to is the question that I'm going to ask now is going to be to Sureet about our first child, having a child when you was obviously quite a young age. Now many people don't get married until they're in their 30s. And that's only because I watched Indian Matchmaking. If you guys seen, we watched it together, Netflix, haven't we? So my mind was like, many people on there were showing, and they were giving like statistics on there about many people are independent now, that they waiting later on in life to get married. Obviously, we'll talk about marriage because there was a question asked about arranged marriages and love marriages, but I'm not going to go into that. But I think it was talking about, obviously, marriages. People aren't getting married till they're in their 30s and 40s. And obviously, we got married, basically, not even, he was 80, 90, yeah, 20. So we were there. And then having our child also at the age of 20. So I'm just going on that, when people are getting married such later on now, getting to that point, and then obviously having their kids after that I thought it might be good to find out, things that, even though we took care and raised the kids together and they're grown up and everything, but we don't always ask those questions of, how did it feel when you had our first child? How did it feel? How did you feel? You know what I mean? At that point, when you had a daughter. And now, if you look at it from where you are, obviously there's going to be those feelings and thoughts that you had then, having our child, then it's at that point, and you're going, okay, positive, negative, whatever it might be. I don't know, people can say there's never any negatives and all that, but in the circumstances, we'll get into our circumstances sooner or later about our situation and our marriage and our relationship and stuff. But how you are now, if you was to look back, this is for so many women who either had the children at the same age as you when they were younger, probably 18, 19, 20, or even in their early 20s. And also women who have waited such a long time, so it's for them, but also men as well, because I don't think us as men ask our wife, how did you feel at that point when you had our child? And then also asking now, if you was to look back, how do you feel about it? Do you know what I mean? There's two different things, because your thoughts and feelings then were totally different to what you must be thinking and feeling now. And then obviously we'll get to any regrets or anything you'll change. But let's begin with, when you were having our first child, which is Raina, and then you've had Raina, how did it feel? What did you feel?
What did I feel? Having Raina, from day one, I've always wanted children. It's been a dream. It's really weird. Whereas people, I don't know, most of the friends that I knew, they always had a career in mind, a job, a title, I don't know, something high up there. But for me, it was always I just want to be a mum.
Yeah.
That was always the case. So with Raina, oh, well, changed my life completely. Completely. So whereas I felt like I was just still a child myself, which I was still, I had to obviously mature up, because now it's not about me, it's about her. So it's giving her all my time, just making sure I just had this bubble around her that, she's protected and loved. It was amazing. I really enjoyed my pregnancy. I enjoyed the birth itself. Oh my God, we both had birth.
Many women or friends that you've had, and people that basically, I've always said that they didn't like pregnancy or being pregnant.
Yeah.
You enjoyed pregnancy and birth, didn't you?
I do remember, because clearly I had no one to turn to. And you asked that question, you were just saying to me, I never got to ask you these when we were a lot younger and whatever. But I do remember a particular time being pregnant. I wasn't that far gone. I was probably about 4 months, and I didn't know who to turn to. And I'd spoken to a friend, and now bearing in mind these friends they weren't close friends, but I'd made friends, and I'd ask questions because I knew one particular person who had a child, and I asked her, and it was so off-putting. It was just so off-putting, everything she was saying to me, and I was like, oh my God, I was so scared. So I was very, very scared with Raina because I didn't know what to expect.
So it's best never to ask people, just because other people experienced it.
Definitely, it definitely is different for everyone, isn't it? So I enjoyed my pregnancy. There were some weird things about it, but I was very scared and not knowing. And I wasn't the kind of person I remember buying just one book, and I've still got that book. And there wasn't much to actually look into. We didn't really have now we have Google, but we was
Yeah,
The internet wasn't so much to research on and stuff, and they don't teach you much in school. And
We didn't go on any. I mean, internet, we had it, but we weren't.
not a reader, so it wasn't like, oh, you know, when I go to the library, get a book. I brought one, and that's about it. I've still got that book in the loft. And yeah, but I do remember a particular time where I just thought, that's it. You were gone to work, and again, I wasn't that far gone. And don't know if I was food poisoned. Do you remember the time? You don't remember?
See, I don't know.
No. So we were living back at your mum's.
Yeah.
Your room. I remember exactly how the bed was because I couldn't get myself out of bed. And I don't remember what we did the night before. So I'd got out of bed and that's it. Like, so when I was younger, I used to get really, really bad period pains, like to the extent that I'd feel like I'm nauseating. I actually fainted in school.
Yeah.
And they used to say to me, why did you come in? But it was that bad. And it felt like that all over again, where I couldn't breathe. It wasn't even like, you know, it was all sorts. And I couldn't breathe, and I'm out of bed, and I thought, that's it, something's happened. And I couldn't get to the doctors. And they came to the house, and they said, there's probably something she didn't. But even to me, even then, I was like, oh my God, this, you know, my baby, like this is what I want. I've always wanted what's going on. So I remember that fear. And then just being so careful afterwards. Say that, and then I had hit a certain stage and I was on my knees and bloody cleaning and painting.
Bought a new house. It was nice.
But it was magical, just beautiful, and I think it took away everything else I was going through at that point as well. So having the house and being pregnant, like, so everything I was going through at the time of leaving home and stuff, she became my everything. Not knowing she was a she, but she became like my focus, and you know, made me get through kind of thing. But yeah, I loved being pregnant. And as soon as she was born, God, that's something you just never forget, would you?
No, I was there. And yeah, it was scary and traumatic at one point. I mean, it was one long pregnancy. I was at work and coming back, but it was scary in the sense that we was going to cut the umbilical cord, but the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, and it was like, so we were like, panic, but everything went great. At that point, I didn't want to panic her. You was there.
I was overly tired because I'd been going through this labour for now nearly 24.
Longer than that, wasn't it? Because it was like around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I took Sureet to the hospital. They said, we'll keep her in, but we'll contact you if we need you. You might as well go to work because it could be a little bit of a process, and don't worry, she's in safe hands. I went to work. I done a whole shift. Then I ended up coming and staying with you at the hospital, basically falling asleep. Then they said, no, she's gonna have the baby sometime tonight. But then she didn't have the baby. Well, you didn't have the baby until the following morning, did you? So it was such a long pregnancy. And then on top of that, Raina's neck being caught in the umbilical cord, it was like, she was tired, but she's like, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's great. There's me going, I go through what's going on. They look panicked. I was there going,
I just remember I didn't have it. She was falling asleep.
I don't want her, stress her out.
Yeah, I was
like,
falling asleep during this.
But it was scary because, she was, your energy was gone. And then obviously, see, even now I'm trying to talk. I'm talking a bit like if I'm talking to everyone there. And now I'm talking to you. I'm just like, your energy was gone, obviously. And then, but luckily we had 2 midwives, which we were lucky. We had a trainee midwife, didn't we? So, which was helpful in the sense that they asked, is it okay for a trainee midwife, bees here? And we went, yeah, that's fine. And I think it was good because she sort of reassured she was always with us. And she was good. And another story about her, we'll say in another time, about Rhea. She was great. And I think that's so reassured. But I panicked obviously, as you would. And I didn't want to scare Sureet at the same time. But
I think the question
went well.
You did go well. So this is a pregnancy book. Asking the question, how did I feel being at that age? I don't think you think about it. You just get on with it. And the feeling, obviously, the feeling is just, I think it's different. Do you know why? Again, because of the situation that we're in. Right. Like you can't you're there for the child. You want to protect the child. Yeah. It's your everything. But because it's just not a normal situation, everything else that was going on around. Do you know what I mean? It isn't normal, is it? Like not having,
Yeah.
support or whatever else, not at the same time. So you're just getting on with it yourself. So you're not still really thinking, oh my God, I'm a mom. You are. You're a mom, but you're doing everything you're supposed to do as a mom. In fact, I was doing a lot more than, I don't know, that moms do.
Yeah.
But it's like now looking at it, I'm thinking there's nothing more else I could have done. I felt like I enjoyed being a mom. You know how much I enjoyed being a mom. Up to a certain age, all the things we used to do, it was just I put them first.
Like a self-taught mom.
Yeah,
It was.
that's the thing. It's self-taught. That's the thing. Like it wasn't normal, so it was me having to learn everything. There was no one to turn to, no one to ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That part, when you go away and think about it properly, it was having to do everything yourself, from little things like just like clipping the toenails and stuff, scratching yourself, like this. God, it's crazy. But yeah,
Once she came, how did you feel?
I felt so happy, and I was so happy. Yeah, I just felt like, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say complete, because I know I wanted a big family.
Yeah.
But it was more like
Fulfilling
and a meaning, purpose for me as well, like kind of thing, because I know I clearly was still kind of lost and stuff at that same time, so it gave me a purpose.
Yeah.
And yeah,
because obviously during that year you did it, you were so happy, weren't you?
yeah,
You just,
I just felt like I just fixated so much of my time on them, gave my all to them, and it's just I didn't think about myself. Like I just found it, I don't know,
it was like
a breeze.
it was pleasant. It was pleasant for you. You enjoyed it.
I really did. And if people are saying, would you have changed anything? Would you have waited and stuff? I don't think I would have.
So if you look back now where you are, obviously Raina, our daughter, is going to be 22 this year.
Yeah.
In June. So if you was looking back who you are now and to that girl who you was basically younger than what your daughter is now.
This is what you've only it's seen when you're young yourself and you've had the child, and anyone else says, oh my God, you're like, just stop it. Do what? I'm happy. I'm fine. Like, this is my life and I enjoy it. Don't tell me anything other, that you're too young, you could be in college, you could be doing this. I know that I was happy and that's what I wanted. But now when I look at it, I think to myself, I see my kids, but then I've only had time to think about it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've never sat there in the 20 odd years and think, oh my God, I was that small, I was that young. I think maybe it's because the kids are now at that stage. They're the same age I was when I had them. And look at my girls and I'm like,
I still see my young girls out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to enjoy and experience life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I want them to find them first.
Okay. But what if one of them you, considering you just said that, and just what I'll ask, because there might be viewers who are going, yeah, okay, you're saying that. Yeah. And now you're saying to your daughters who are more or less older than you were when you had your first.
Yeah.
And you're saying, go out there, just live your life and enjoy. But if one of your daughters was to say, you know what, I want a child now, would you be supportive, or you say, no, don't do it because I did it? How would you?
No, I would be supportive. And the reason for that is I know my girls, like kind of thing, we haven't been strict. We've allowed them to be them.
Yeah.
Find themselves, do what they want to do. We've not really held them back from anything.
They don't like each other either.
They're not like each other. Yeah. So they've got a life.
Yeah.
Like, and I know if they were making choices, and especially when it comes to a baby, having a child, you know, they'd really have thought about it properly. And
they are.
And they know that it's their responsibility at the end of the day, you know, what comes with it. They've seen me as well.
Yeah.
You know, even with Reed now, so many years later, they've seen it's not an easy ride. You've heard Casey many times. She's my youngest, so Casey's always saying she wants to be a young mom. She looked at me and she's like, oh, when I'm 24, I want to have my first kid like my mom did. But now, seeing how hard Reed is, she's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
no, I'm like, he's put me off. I was like, you know what? So that's the cheapest contraception is having a child around you that would put you off. Do you know what I mean? That you think, so she's completely said, no, I'm going to wait till I'm 30. I'm fine with that and like kind of thing. But as I know they'll be mature and responsible enough to be there.
If they make the choice.
If they make a choice. I wouldn't say no, but if it's, I think maybe I'm just looking at myself and thinking, God, and seeing them, Casey's 18, and to me, she's my little, but you just want to hold on to her.
So she's your baby in the sense of that age, and you see how she is, even though they're, like you said, they're independent and quite smart, but at the same time, you know, you're there going, you're an adult, you can make your own choices, and I think you'll make the right choices, but at the same time, you're there going, but you're still a child. I just think you're a child.
Exactly. It's like she'll do little things, you know, that I look at and think, oh my God, but then I feel like she's so much more mature than me at that age.
Probably both, I would say, but both of us, like, you know, like, I mean, yeah.
They're so switched on. They know so much. They're so mature. They question everything, you know. And yeah, so in one way, I'd be like, yeah, I'll be happy for you. But when I look at her, I'm like, you know, and she'll come home and she'll be moody from college and then she'll want to give a cuddle. And then I think it's only been a lot recently. Maybe it's because I've hit that age that I was when I had them, that I'm more like, geez, you know, like she comes home and she wants a cuddle.
Yeah.
That maybe I needed that at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or someone. See, I'm going to get all like, I don't want to. This is what was.
I know. I understand. You should just...
To turn to say, Mom, sit there, have coffee and tea and say, oh, you know, how far you gone? There was this... Or,
talk about what you're experiencing, talk about what you're feeling, having someone to, you know, just reassure you or just listen. That, isn't it? Yeah. And I know people are going to say, what will you do at that time? We'll keep that for another day, because if I go on about that, then, you know, my circumstance, it was just like more or less getting you. See, there's lots that we can talk about. And if we start talking about, okay, but what about him and that? I know people might ask those questions, and we can talk about me and what I was thinking and feeling on another one. But this was going to be about you. You know, didn't he help us up, or didn't he listen and stuff like that? No, there's one thing having a partner there. We're there together. We're all the time. But it's different having somebody, like you said, maybe a mom or a sister or somebody who, you know, certainly the ages that we were. I mean, I think we've grown now to the point where we can talk about anything and everything.
Yeah.
A lot more like we are friends more than we husband and wife. But I think at that time, being raised in a Punjabi household, both of us, there was like, you know, you learn from your parents and other people the do's and don'ts, or you're thinking my job is responsibility is working and stuff, breadwinner, your responsibility is this. And it wasn't the whole affection and what's going on, what you're feeling. Now it's like, now it's become more like me. I've been asking and being more, you know.
You were there for them. You know, clearly you played and did everything, but it was more like I did everything.
Well, I didn't know like that as a father. I think I was playing the father's role. You was playing the mother's role, but we weren't asking each other, what is your role and what is my role? Why can't we, you know, how are you dealing with this role that you've never actually done before? You've had no training for. You've had no one to talk to and support from. How are you dealing with it? Do you know what I mean? Do you need anything? And it wasn't, and it was basically, we just got on with our jobs. That's what he felt like. That we were there and we did support each other, but we got on with what we believed our jobs were.
That's exactly how it felt. Like, think about it every day. Not that you're saying it felt the same, but there's me just bringing my kids up. Even when we moved away, it was just me. Yeah. And it's just like keeping them entertained, cooking, cleaning, putting them to sleep, you know, getting up at night time. And your job was, and you'll come home, they'd be in bed, bang on a certain time, you'd come home and you'd do your little role, you'd go and give them a kiss.
I'll play with them if they're on weekends, depending on my shifts.
And stuff like that.
And then we would have time together, didn't we?
We constantly had time in the evenings together.
7 o'clock adults used to go to bed, all of them.
See, that was a good thing, whereas my son, he goes to bed quite late.
So 7 o'clock, they would go to sleep. We'd spend time with them up until that point if I was on it early. they all go to bed, and then me and you spend time together, and it was nice. So
The thing is, what exactly did we do when we spent that time together? I can't. I know we just watched TV, but
yeah, we were exhausted many times because I was up since 5, 6 to go to work, then come back, we'd play with them, and there were like 3 of them all running around. So it used to be a bit.
have to think about that night because it was like every night wasn't the same night because you bring the kids up, obviously doing what you do, you're having so much fun with them. But the evenings felt like, what happened?
Yeah,
We're so exhausted.
I think the other thing I was going to say was, which new viewers that I hear that listening, I was in the police force for 20 years, but I had just joined the police force the year my daughter was born. So we had our new house as well. So we had a new house. I ended up having a new job, which I had to travel for. I had to do 18 weeks of training. So I was gone from Monday to Friday, and I was only around on the weekends, wasn't I, when she was born? Because she was born in the first week of June, and I had joined in July. So I wasn't even around unless it was on a weekend. I used to just phone every evening, didn't I? And
I remember.
then I've done the shifts, and it was quite scary because many times you would be at home with our daughter in our new home and by yourself.
I remember you saying that now. A particular night where I had 2 of them. No, actually, it was still the one. It was still the one. It was a sprainer, and you joined, and it was, I don't know how late it was at night. Where I was asleep in bed.
About 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was late, but the whole house shook. I thought that's it. Someone's broken. I didn't know what happened, or something's. I don't even know if it was broke. I don't know what I thought, and I was so scared. I picked up the phone, and I rang a friend. Steve, I was that panicked. I didn't even ring you. I rang a friend whose name's Steve as well. I'm like, I don't know what's just happened. And he's like, Reet, it's so late. This is your mate, basically. And I was like, I didn't even explain to him. I put the phone down on him, re-rang you. But that's how scary it was, like being alone at night time whilst you were
child in a new home.
Yeah, you were working all different hours and stuff. So it wasn't easy.
I think in the good sense was because I was on nights and I was awake. It was an earthquake. So it was an earthquake, and everything where I was working shook, and basically the phones are going all mental. But I ended up like answering it during we were evacuating the police station because it was shaking, and I did manage to say, it's okay, don't worry, nothing's happening, it's an earthquake.
But going back to that, your question was, how do you feel? Even like now thinking about it, see, you think about it later, you don't think about it then. How do you feel? That particular time was so scary, and I know me being 18, 20, even 20, no, obviously it's then, but from 8, I remember how being back at home, how scared I used to be just to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Up the hallway, it looks long. Well, when you're younger, every house seems so much more bigger than what it is. So my bedroom to the toilet seemed such a distance. I didn't want to go to the toilet at night time, and this is me still at 18. Can you imagine? So having a child and having to be so much more like
even more responsible
and strong, and
and you're still learning to be a mom and looking after a baby.
I was frightened, and frightened that night so much. But like those little things you think now, like I remember how like fearful I used to be of so many different things, and yet here's me, this badass mom at 18, 20 onwards, and just like handling everything alone.
And then obviously the impact of what you must feel having a daughter yourself, and the relationship you had with your mother, and not having them, like your mum or your sister there, like, when your daughter.
See, that's the point. This is it's just like,
because you would have this emotion going, oh my God, I can't live without my child. She's like, my baby, my everything. And then how did my mom
how can one not want to be in your life? And
that's just another story part of it.
So having those emotions and feelings as well, like at that age.
And that's what I was trying to say. That obviously you're caring for your daughter. You're being strong for your daughter, considering your age and how you normally was. You're learning something new. Motherly instincts have kicked in and everything. But yet then also not having your own family, your mom, your sisters,
There's many nights that
you feel like, you know what, I'm taking care of my child, that other people would have this help and support. My husband has to work to support us, and I can't turn anywhere. And yet I've got to, do this.
There was many nights that, there's so many things I would have wanted to ask, or, even like just help. As I remember how I found it, especially after having that, like how drained and stuff I was. Clearly, yeah, your family were there, but it's not the same thing, is it? Like, it's not so much you can open up and say, this is, that's her, or I'm there, like, kind of thing, or I'm just emotional anyway. I just feel...
I think in-laws just put it aside as you're making a big deal out of something that's not, or not seeing the same sense as they would see in the daughter. I think I see that kind of...
I don't care, like, what anyone says, but when a daughter-in-law is a daughter-in-law, do you know what I mean? It's never going to replace anyone's child.
How you could talk, regardless of what your mum is like, or your sister's like, or anyone like from anyone's relationships, I think you, regardless of how they might be, you could probably openly talk to them about anything more comfortable, unless you had a very good relationship with your mother-in-law and the sister-in-law, that which some people do. But otherwise, I feel like it's that kind of thing, isn't it? Like, and if I say to them, it's like, well, she's asking this because she's not a good enough mother, or she doesn't know, or you just feel something, don't you? Unless you're very close, kind of thing.
I just don't think I generally did ask any questions, although I probably needed so many answered. Like,
I ran out there and had it.
and that's like
No, people did help. People did help.
It's just like generally feeling it as
not that disregard to be rude or like always. So,
as a daughter, like,
it's just that circumstances, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not saying anyone was like, but I'm sure everyone wants that.
Yeah, your family. You basically, like, my family were there, so we're not like putting that aside. Like, there was my sisters there, my grand there.
It's a lot of help.
Grandmother, so my mother there. So we did have people that helped and all that. The only thing you're saying is, like, even though we had them, you didn't just have that. Yeah, you just wish like your mum or your sister or people that you can talk to besides them, because they were there. Like, they'll pick up Raina and take her away, and one or the other. And
people just kind of forget that side of it. Like, she is just her alone, and that's it.
It was looking at how
they just see me there.
Yeah,
mom. They don't. That should be just a mom. She shouldn't have those worries that she's got. Like, she hasn't got X, Y, and Z. Or she hasn't. She shouldn't feel anything else. Yeah. She made that choice. I'd say just get on with it. Get on with it. You've got your child. You know what I mean. But those
that hoping view was, if we take the baby and we're looking after, we're picking up the baby, we're helping the baby, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? We did. You rest. We've got the baby, which is fine, which is helpful, but it was never like, we've got the baby, but how about you?
Yeah,
it's that, isn't it? How about you? How are you?
Really?
Should we take you out? Do you need, like, anything? That kind of thing. So it's not saying that.
I think even with you, we didn't have those conversations. You never said to me, "How do you feel as a
no?"
This is would you? Yeah,
I didn't. I didn't at that time. I think for me, if I was to look back, I thought thinking about them or being in that situation probably make you more emotional, make you feel like, weaker than, that kind of thing. It's like now, like last week's podcast, me talking about police force, and I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I'm moving on. And so when the circumstances were that what we were in, talking about, oh God, how do you feel about that? It's like when you could be smiling and looking after it, it's like, why are you taking her back there for? Where there's nothing I personally can do that you have to change that. As a man, you always feel like I should be fixing your problems.
That's how the thing I don't like, though, as well, with men that just don't like to speak about things. It's just because you guys don't like to speak about it, and the fact that you could have asked those questions.
Yeah, I could have asked those questions. Yeah,
but you didn't, because you thought X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
This is one thing I don't like.
No, exactly. But this is what I'm trying to say. There's probably loads of guys out there, or married couples out there, that a woman thinking in a certain way and could be feeling a certain way. Man automatically thinks he should be doing, seeing, or saying in a certain way. Or if I say this, it might upset her. Or if I say this, well, due to circumstances. And the thing is, it wasn't that I was thinking it either. You just like going, okay, why? I'm getting on with whatever. She's getting on with whatever. Do I really want to talk about anything that, even then, that puts a negativity on what's going on that we can't change? But which probably wasn't the right thing. It would have been gone, are you okay? How are you dealing with things? Considering you probably, do you know what I mean? Which is where we are now.
Do you think looking back then, when we had the first or even like the second, did you see me as in like, oh God, jeez?
I just thought you was happy.
Yeah.
I just saw you, because even when I got with you, the one thing you said was, when you was younger, I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't commit to have children or anything like that. It was like, oh, let's have a child. We were like together, and then you basically said that when I was younger, I always said that, like, when I grow up, I want to be a mum. And I was like, oh God, I actually thought that's sweet, you know. I didn't think, oh my God, guys, is that what you want to do? You know, I thought, oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't ask more into it. But I remember when we decided that we wanted children, so we did discuss it, and then we were trying, and obviously it didn't happen at first. And then we decided, you know what we'll do is, so we were trying for obviously at first, and then we had a discussion going, okay, there's a house, we can buy it, and what if we get that and we just like have our child after we settle in? So we'll wait a while. And then so we went for the house, and all of a sudden he was like, oh, just can I just let you know I'm pregnant? You know, so we got the house, and like, okay, we were like planning, let's have a child first, and then we'll move, and then we'll look for a house. But then we went, okay, this isn't happening. We've been trying, so let's get a house, and then we'll go have the child. And then both things happened at the same time, which we didn't say, oh my God, how are we going to deal with it? We just like look at it as a blessing. And like I said, it wasn't like, oh, we want a boy or a girl or anything. We didn't even think of that as far as that. We were like, oh my God, we're having a baby, and this is what we wanted. Because we wanted a big family, didn't we?
We go back to that. We didn't think it, but we were told so much that we're having a boy.
Yeah, everyone else. But we were okay, and I think we just wanted a big family, and it was great.
The question was, so you answered that. I didn't see
I just saw you, like, I knew you was happy when you was, you know, even though, you know, having the baby of like going out, what you wanted to get and stuff like that.
I feel like, looking at it, like, I feel like I did, this is just me. I feel like considering the considering the circumstances, I didn't might find a good job. Like, I'm so proud of myself now. I could sit here today and say I'm so proud, because it was not not an easy ride. It was so tough, being in the position and everything that had gone on, that I did everything. I gave my all to them, and I didn't let anything affect them. I didn't let them see anything. I didn't, you know what I mean? And I don't even feel, obviously I was really down at the time. There were so many days. But I remember, one thing I do remember is prior to Raina being born, how low I used to be. So before any other children were born, how I was so dwelled in what I have not got anymore, and what I'm missing out on, or what you know, everyone has cut me off. So that's such a sad time of my life that when I do look back at it. I don't look back at it now and think, oh my God, I don't get emotional about it, but I look back and I'm thinking, I just wish there was someone who understood me. But I know when the kids came, that no longer was there. Clearly there was times when I didn't understand, but I was so occupied and so happy with them that I didn't consume any of that time crying and being sad that I don't have X, Y, and Z, or I need that help, or you know. And clearly there was so much going on, because it was all new that was going on. And then we had drama within in-laws and stuff like that as well, which wasn't easy. Do you know what I mean?
How's it going?
So much drama then kind of made us move away. And from moving away, having all three of them on my own, I just see it as my happy time. I look back now, when I had even Reed, and I'd come out of hospital, and I was so low in iron and all sorts of different things, that I'd got up and that's it. I was gone. Got out of bed and I collapsed. And I was so lucky I didn't hit my head off. You had weights that were poking out from under the bed. Sorry. You know, I didn't hit my head like off there, but I know how much help I needed. I know how low I was, and
not having someone to ask.
And I know I used to think about my mother all the time then. Like, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, with us, it was always like, you many times, because Sureet's very much, I know I'm looking at you and talking to you. You're very much, you look after me and the kids, and you always have done. You always put us always first before anyone else. And I know for a fact that even though I was working and doing stuff, you never would put me in a situation where you go, she used to always think, he's got enough on his plate. He's going to work certain hours, he's doing whatever, then he comes home, he spends time, then he does this. I'm not going to put what I'm feeling or what I'm going through on him. That, you know what, I'll keep that. I'm occupying, but he's doing his role, I'm doing my role. Let me not put mine, because he's not putting his on me, that kind of thing.
But by the time you come to work and going back to like, where did time go? The kids have been bed for 7. What did we do? We were so tired by that time. You talk a little bit about your work, and I don't think I did go into how I never did. I don't.
What just talked about the kids?
Don't you feel like I was so enclosed back then about how I felt?
Yeah.
And I'm not that kind of person. you know?
Yeah.
Like, so for me, just looking back, thinking why, I know maybe I wanted to be asked, maybe I just didn't want to think about it because I knew how it probably affects me, or I've thought so much about it all day long that let's try and switch off now. I don't know. But I didn't, I just...
Would you now, where you are now, and obviously the kids are grown up, you know, you're in your early 40s, and kids at university, obviously our youngest is 11. If someone said to you, you can get on a time machine and go back and have your children later or change things around or whatever, now looking back at it, are you where you are with the kids all grown? Are you glad you had them then?
I am so glad I had them then. I would not, I say this anyway when the kids ask, I would never ever want to change back time when I had my kids.
You have no regrets?
No regrets whatsoever. I absolutely loved that time of my life. Having them, my pregnancies, carrying each one of them. I enjoyed my pregnancies, by the way, so much.
I know, you do.
I could be pregnant for anyone all day long, I swear.
Or anyone.
Yeah, I do want you to be pregnant for you. I'll be pregnant for you. I swear to God. It was just amazing being pregnant. Like the feel, I had the energy, the glow, like that I could eat what I wanted to, when I wanted to.
Yeah.
It was just...
And not only that, when the kids were always around, you just had a different kind of energy and vibe to you anyway. You was up in the morning,
that's another thing
getting
as
them
well.
all ready.
Like having a purpose, like being there for them.
And you're cooking, you were doing everything, weren't you? You was like,
it's like what I asked for, I got. So like they say, you know, you ask something, you get it. You want something so much, you got it. I got it, but you don't always get it the way you want it. So like for me, it's just like, yeah, I've got this perfect world, right, kids, and I don't care what people think, because obviously I had all the backlash about having girls and whatever. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
But hey, if that means being happy and, you know, having not have what everyone else has, then hey. But yeah.
So if there
I
are...
would not change. Would not. Never, ever, ever would I say that I wish I was in my late 20s. Or I am so happy. And I tell you another thing why. Being the age I am now, and fair play to the ladies, or enough respect. Obviously, they've got, you know,
other things, other circumstances.
No, even like, yeah, they've got other dream goals that they've achieved.
Other priorities.
But I know for myself, being this age, even having V'd at 30, I felt such a difference in my body, in just being so much more tired, or, you know, didn't do as much as I did with them.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that they were at a certain age then, that I didn't feel bad that I neglected them. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt like I didn't have energy at 30 to be doing so much. Well, I enjoyed it, but I did so much.
You were seemed with the three. Obviously, we moved again afterwards when we had all three. And you were like our older sister, wasn't you? More than a mom. Like, you know, the energy and the games that you used to play with them.
Oh, my God.
Always keeping them active outside, inside, in the garden. You were just basically...
It's like having... And I think about it now, it's like having that purpose, doing something. I know I've said it before, but yeah, it just brought me to life, I think they did.
So obviously you did work in between and all that, but you wouldn't change that.
Never, ever in a million years.
Always.
Never, because again...
You didn't do much, like, I'm saying, going to work and you basically gave your life to raising them, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you're happy.
And I'm happy that I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't think, oh God, I wish I went back and I focused a bit on me and had a career. Or, you know, because I was still not unsure of what I wanted to do. And I did obviously things here or there. And that again is another podcast to talk about. I felt like it was just because everyone's doing it, you do what everyone else
or what people are going to say.
Yeah. So you do things. But if I could have been a full-time mom and not have these
which
small I was, but these small little jobs in between, which affected
you did. Yeah.
I wish I just ignored everyone else and said, I'm happy doing it.
It wasn't for the money, was it? It was just basically, you felt like...
I'm happy to do what I'm doing, and I'd rather be at home with my kids than be out there. And I'm glad I have.
Because I think even that is another conversation for another day. Like many people, friends, family, were just going, but you're just a mum. Yeah, and I think that kind of thing.
That's something we need to talk about, because it was like pressure.
We'll talk about that another whole, I think, because I think that would be a long one. I would say.
Your auntie came over and she was just like, so what about you? And I was like, what the hell? What is it to you? Are you paying my bills? And I think I literally said it to her. I did. I was like, you know, what is to you?
Because that's what people do, innit?
But I'm happy. Like, I'm literally happy bringing them up kids. You know, I'm not here to see how...
Not only that, I think those aunts and, you know, that grew up, they were more or less like going, well, we had kids and we went to work. No, you had kids, and then you
Yeah,
had
no,
people looking after your kids.
your kids. We
Yeah, and they're helping each other. So it wasn't the same thing. You didn't just have your kids looking after themselves.
just imagine putting your kids in nursery and how much it would have cost. Would we being able to afford it?
Yeah, exactly.
We would not.
And not only that, I mean, many people do. They both work and they put their kids in, but we didn't want that anyway, did we? And I did say to you many times that I'm happy to leave my work and look after our children. If you want to go to work, that's fine. I'm not fussed, even though we were in those circumstances.
Yeah, we were. And I think the reasons for that was each time, A, was more like, again, talking about aunties and uncles, one pressure.
Yeah.
And secondly, another thing was because we didn't now have both families and didn't have nobody, there was no interaction with people.
Yeah.
And I just need to get out and see someone or another. But looking at it and seeing people that I knew at, I would say, same age who had kids later, I see the difference in how I used to be. I was happy enough to be at home.
Yeah.
But then I know certain people who've got that one child and they need to be at work because they can't handle the same day, every day routine. And it was really getting to
Rather drop them off somewhere.
or have like family members constantly drop them up or look. Yeah. And but the thing is, I found that really hard. I in my head, it was like, hold on. So you're dropping your kid off first thing in the morning. You're doing a 20-minute drive to drop your kid off to get looked after so you can go to work. So that's you going back to work. That's a 5-hour, 6-hour job. Come back to go and get your kid to take home. I thought that was too. Where do you switch off?
Yeah.
Whereas where me and you, we did it together. It was like a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always wanted to be a mom. I felt like I went to work because of the pressure that I had of society.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you come home and it's our time.
Yeah.
You know, we both are there and we're doing two different things. We're there for each other and we had time together.
And I love playing with the kids.
Gone.
I had more fun with the young girl, like, when they was just like, climb over me. I had more energy as well, didn't I? Then, you come back, it doesn't matter if you do a 9-hour shift, you still have so much energy for your kids.
We'd sit together in the evening and even if we didn't speak like at all because we were knocked out, we had time together. Like we have time together now. Like there's not many couples that I know would, like, it would be every day we'd have time together. We'd do things together.
Yeah.
And I look back and I think, no, I wouldn't change because if I was at work, I know for a fact I'd want time out. I'd be exhausted. I'd take that on you. You'd vice versa. And, it just, the kids don't. I don't know, but that's how I do.
We did it automatically. It wasn't like, it just happened, didn't it? In the way that we sort of done things. So you're happy with how things were. Any advice that you would give to any women? Anything? Is there anything that you could say? Obviously, if there's women in their 30s and 40s, they can't go back in time and have a child anyhow or anything like that. But it's just enjoyed that. I think the thing is, Sureet, you had so many people when you was getting pregnant for the first time make you feel like, oh my God, it's hard work or pregnancies are horrible and birthing. I know it works different for different women, but it's just like, I would say from your point of view, what would you say? Just, is that what would you say? You know what I mean? Like, don't listen to everyone. It's everything is.
Definitely don't listen to everybody. Don't listen to anyone.
I mean, I can't give that advice, obviously, but
no, everyone's different. And for me, I can say each one of my pregnancies, even if you're thinking of, I've had a lot of ladies ask me, look, I've got a child who's now 6 months. And I'm thinking, but would it be too much? If you feel like you know what, you just find a way.
Yeah.
If you feel like you want a child inside, then go for it. Like, I kind of think if you've got one already and think in 6 months, would I be able to? Everyone finds a way with doing whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like someone said to me the other day, well, you know what? When you buy a house, you find a way of how to pay that mortgage and the bills. You're not trained. You know what I mean? You
just happen.
Yeah, it happens. You have to find a way, and you do. And
we found a way to look after all four of ours with the girls, and then obviously a son came afterwards. But yeah, we managed to find a way.
Don't listen to people. And what I would say is enjoy. I think enjoy the younger years with them. Hold on to them as much as you can because they just go so quickly.
Anything about partners and relationship quickly kind of thing, because otherwise it's going to get
partners and relationships.
Be able to, because
the conversations we had earlier.
Yeah.
Like asking each other, during,
are you okay?
Are you okay?
Even the ones that do have their mums, sisters, brothers, whatever relative that they're growing up with, still ask them as well, is everything, are you okay?
And as for a partner, like guys in particular, if you feel like, oh, what's the point of bringing up that,
if you're in that circumstance.
Anything, it could be you wouldn't bother or ending. It depends on what the conversation, whatever it is.
Just ask.
There is, because sometimes us women, we are like that. We don't want to be saying to you, we need to talk about this, or this is what's going on in our head.
Right.
You know, we're acting a bit whatever, you feel like offish. Those conversations need to be
Just said so, like, you know, and then, where we are now, after years and years kind of thing of being able to talk about anything and everything, which we weren't then. But it's more or less like telling people now that what you can have and what you can do. So I was going to say, learn from your mistake or our mistakes. Or at that time, we didn't see them as mistakes, so did we? We just saw them as a process of life, that we were going in the way that we thought was the right way. But obviously, as we grew older and became more understanding to ourselves and each other, we could have done it better. We could have done it differently. Or we were doing things that we didn't think were, you know. I think the more we've started talking, we started understanding and realising that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're learning a lot about each other as well along the way as well.
Yeah.
So many things that learning or not understanding about each other, that was
Which will be another podcast.
That's with every relationship though, isn't it?
Anyway, how do you feel now? After doing this, like obviously you said at the starting, you was already feeling, very tense. You felt so much like, but now here's me doing that question. How do you feel now?
I feel okay. I'm not
Going back,
stomach. I can't wait to have
memory lane.
to get over it. Huh?
Going back in memory lane. Was it a positive thing going back, or is it a?
I feel like it's definitely a positive thing. In the sense I say that is because I feel like I've grown so much.
Yeah.
Because I know a couple of good years ago, and I tried to hold back then from the tears. I know.
No, which still, yeah.
But if you know what I was like a good 5-6 years ago, still thinking and talking about this. Well, not these, but just even this would have probably hit me in a way. And that's something I'm proud of, because I feel like, you know what, we have to move on from that.
Yeah.
Can't dwell in the past, and as soon as you move from that, you know, you're in a happier place. And I think it's just like, I never thought about those things before. You just didn't give it time because I was just so happy with the kids.
Yeah.
And then there comes a point in life where it kind of floods back to you thinking, you know what, you went through this. It wasn't easy. And I feel like I've been through that emotional state where I have been dwelling so much in it. And obviously I was tense, but I'm good. I'm actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually really good.
We're grateful. I'm grateful. Obviously, you've children, and didn't think of it at the time, but the way everything ended up being at the time, the processing really, like says, I mean, we didn't think so much of it, but then there was times when we thought, oh God, this is difficult kind of thing.
So many times I thought we could walk away, not the children, just walk away from this.
So much, but then now I look at it all and it's like, I'm just grateful. You know what, that just realize that what you have, just got to be happy and grateful for that. You know, the outside, everything that you thought you wanted and needed, sometimes it's you know, it is what it is. You can't keep, like, you know, you got to focus on what you have and make the best of what you got, kind of thing. And that's what I think we end up doing.
We're grown as people.
We're grown.
Individually together.
Yeah. But there you go.
Oh my God, do you have tears in your eyes?
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm not.
You're supposed to be helping.
I'm not from it. No, I ain't getting tears. I'm good. That's it then. So hopefully, you know what I mean. Well,
I can have my pancake now. Can I have some nervous? So I was like, no, it's water today.
And let us know what else we can talk about next time, or we'll think about something. And there's so much, isn't there? And even now we couldn't just carry it on. But
thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Bye.